Coming down like dogs of war, the joint unions went to town on the government today in a 2-hour press conference. And Senior Minister Francis Fonseca asks the unions, can't we all just get along? Plus, a 14-year-old boy knocked down and killed by a Floralia bus. We'll have that story. Plus, Tracy Panton's UDP takes its turn to load up on the government. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Thursday, June 19th, 2025. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
The total span of the entire structure is approximately 25 meters, and it also has an overall width of 12.5 meters, which includes 2 lanes and also 2 pedestrian footpaths of 2 meters each. The design span for this bridge is basically 75 to 100 years, so that's the expectation of its life.
It's $2.4 million to complete the bridge, and we also did the boat ramp. We had to incur a little bit additional expense because we did the pontoon to be able to allow the residents to be able to cross while we are building. Infrastructure is one of the key elements for economic development. It allows people to generate more income. It does so many things. It will open the whole area for free flow of traffic. It gives you safety. And we're allowing, because of the height of the bridge, we're allowing now traffic of boats underneath. It will enhance the tourism product. It betters the quality of life of the neighborhood. And that's what we want to do. We are here to serve the people, and these projects is a symbol of that.
It's good, I would say good, and people will be happy to see a new bridge.
I'm very, very elated that this bridge has finally been realized for the people of the change. A lot will move better, will move faster, and Some people might even stop and take pictures because they're a pretty bridge, they're a nice bridge. I like the bridge.
From the minute I heard about it, something that I personally wanted done, this is a welcome news for Punta Gorda.
This is the agenda of the union leaders and the UDP.
If we will not, comrades, disrupt and create impact, we will be wasting our time. And so every action that we take, the first action is to let the tourists there know we're not being treated fairly. And that will go international. And that is the kind of impact that we have to have. If Thursday we engage in a massive motorcade into the airport, out to the press conference, then that has to be disruptive as well to the flow of traffic into the airport.
They don't want to negotiate. They want to disrupt. In a negotiation, people win. But disruption costs everybody, and nobody wins. Beware of false agendas and snakes in the union and the UDP.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coast.
This morning, the 2023 in the...
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Cherie Culsel, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Why is the mayor stuttering so much?
I'm not quite clear on.
And is this a sweetheart deal in the most literal sense?
But I don't know the particulars if it's a female and where she works.
Imagine a nurse closely connected to a city councillor hired for a lucrative paint job inside City Hall and Traffic Department building at a hefty price of almost $200,000. To Bernard Wagner, this is no big deal.
Pretty small. It's pretty small cost.
But to city residents who pay municipal taxes and to taxpayers in general who foot the council's generous subvention from government, it's a massive ripoff.
Listen to me, this is the City Hall. This is the City Hall.
Welcome to Brody's, your one-stop shop for everything you need. In our grocery store, you'll find the freshest produce, quality meats, and a variety of organic options. Our pharmacy is here for your health needs, with expert pharmacists ready to assist and advise. Trust us for your prescriptions, over-the-counter medications, and wellness products. Discover our department store for a variety of quality products, from the latest fashion trends to appliances and cutting-edge electronics. Enhance your lifestyle with our wide selection of home goods, toys, and more. At Brody's, we bring convenience, quality, and care together, all under one roof. Brody's, your one-stop shop for everything you need. Enjoy shopping at our 3 convenient locations: Brody's Belmopan Store, Northern Superstore, and Albert Store. Service, value, satisfaction.
It's Court's 30th anniversary celebration with the best deals and offers you will not find anywhere else for the entire month of June. Get up to 40% off selected categories each week. Shop now and get up to 30% off store-wide on all credit purchases. All purchases give you a chance to win a full room makeover in December. Visit your nearest Court store today or shop at Courts.com. Celebrate 30 with Courts and save big this June. Courts, bringing value home. Special conditions apply.
Electricity is evolving, and BEL is leading the way with smarter connections across Belize. Meet AMI, Advanced Metering Infrastructure, It's not just a meter, it's a smarter way to manage power. Smart meters record your energy use in real time and securely send the data to BEL. Key customer benefits include real-time insights into energy usage, improved home energy planning, integration of solar, battery, and EV technologies, and innovative customer service solutions. Get ready! AMI is coming soon to municipalities across Belize, including the Keys, to give you more control and reliability. BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, the joint unions have coordinated for a massive attack on government. Fortunately, right now, it's just a war of words. And the unions, and we mean all the unions, from hospital workers to students, had a lot of those today in a 2-hour press conference held in Belize City. But they started with a rebuke for the government about those anti-union ads you've seen on this newscast and social media. The ads run the gamut, accusing the unions of irresponsibly pursuing civil disobedience to conspiring with the opposition. Today, they blamed the government for those ads and called it a dangerous distraction.
The government of Belize must immediately cease the politicization of actions taken by union leaders and put an end to the personal attacks on their integrity. Union leaders are elected representatives of working people, not political pawns. The attempt to undermine their character for political gain not only weakens the democratic voice of workers, but also erodes public trust in fair labor practices. This pattern of scapegoating is a dangerous distraction from the real issues facing our workforce and our workers, and an attempt to an affront to the principles of justice, dignity, and collective bargaining. Responsible leadership demands respectful dialogue, not character assassination.
That's right. Amen.
If this does not stop immediately, NTUCB will be submitting a case to the ILO Standards Application Committee. Basta, enough.
And the real issues they are talking about are the points of negotiation between the joint unions and the government negotiating team. On June 5th, the Minister of State for Finance, Chris Coy, sent a counter-proposal to the unions, which offended the unions. That's because it did offer the 8.5% increase staggered over time, but said it was subject to acceptance of a pension reform proposal. Now, the president of the APSSM explains why she found that's problematic.
What caught our eyes was the fact that in the letter and in bold capital letters, it said subject to. And I heard, and I have respect for the Minister of State. And I heard him on another media, in a media house, saying that in fact, I got it wrong. Because if you're putting subject to in capital letters, it is to catch my attention, and it's to tell me that everything that follows, it depends on. But maybe I didn't, different law school I gone, different school I gone, maybe. Because he said that is not the case, that in fact, whatever, it was subject to pension reform. So to get any of the things above, which was the 4 and the 4.5 and the increments, it was subject to pension reform. And with the pension reform, it spoke to the fact that the implementation of it, and it was to be implemented in 2 phases. The first phase was incoming public officers, and this should have been effective the 1st of October 2025. And the second phase is that the contributory pension scheme would have been implemented to existing public officers at the earliest possible, having regard for the ongoing comprehensive salary review. Despite the narrative they're giving out there, it might want to seem that we are not for pension reform. That has never been the case. Pension reform has been on the table for years now. We recognize that as a responsible members of the public sector workers and sector, that we have to look at going forward so that my grandchildren will have something to look forward to.
Responding today, Senior Minister and member of the government negotiating team, Francis Fonseca, tried to strike a conciliatory note. He staked out the government's position on the increase and pension reform.
I want to be very clear also on 2 points. One, we have to keep communicating and making sure that the Belizean people understand that the government of Belize has already agreed to give the 8.5% to the teachers and public officers. So we've already committed to doing that. The issue is, of course, whether it is done in one single payment, one single increase, or if it's done over a period of 3 years or 2 years or that sort of thing. So that, I want people to understand that. We have already committed to that. There's no question about that. We have already said, listen, we know that the teachers and public officers deserve an increase, but let's try to do it in as responsible a way as possible. And then the second point has to do with pension reform. There's a lot of misinformation out there about pension reform. What we're talking about is new entrants into the public service. So new people coming into the public service, what we want to do is have a agreed upon start date, say, for example, October of this year, when we will say any person who enters the public service after that date will have to contribute to the pension, will be a part of a contributory pension scheme. Right now we have a non-contributory pension scheme. The only country in the Caribbean and Central America with a non-contributory pension scheme. We're the only country, along with Guyana, that still has the retirement age at 55. You know what the retirement age in Barbados is today? It's 67. That's the retirement age in Barbados. Pension reform for new entrants. Now, in terms of the existing public officers, there's a proposal on the table for specific categories of those officers, and that has to be worked out in consultation with the unions. So, for example, you might say, nobody who has been in the public service for more than 10 years will be affected. That sort of thing has to be discussed and negotiated. So I want to be very clear about that so that people understand the position of the government.
And the position of the government negotiating team right now is that they are fine-tuning their proposals for presentation to Cabinet.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful and confident that we will be able to have a positive resolution to, what is currently sort of impasse, if you like. But where we are now is that the unions, as you know, have rejected the last offer made by the government of Belize. Our negotiating team, the Cabinet Subcommittee, met earlier this week to discuss, certain proposals that we want to make to Cabinet. We will be making those proposals to Cabinet on Tuesday of next week. And based on that discussion with Cabinet and whatever instructions we are given by the Cabinet, then we will be scheduling a meeting with the Junt for us to move the process forward in terms of whatever instructions we are given by Cabinet. So we're very hopeful that based on our own discussions, that those proposals will be well received, that they will be met with good faith, and that we will have an opportunity for an early resolution of this matter.
And while the other two members of the joint union gave an update on their negotiations with the government, the third member, Dean Flowers, spoke about why and ways, that is, that GOB can cut costs. He pointed out areas where he alleges tens of thousands of dollars are being spent without the taxpayers getting anything near value for money. He zeroed in on rental fees. Many ministries and departments have to rent their offices, and that adds up to millions in waste. But which offices cost the most? Here's what Flowers alleged.
I've looked at our rentals, and we've continuously said that there's a great need, an urgent need for government to consolidate its ministries into publicly owned facilities. And we believe that we have what could possibly be a model to follow with what exists with the Eleanor Hall building. What we need to ensure is that we're getting value for whatever management contract goes into that, and that we don't end up with what is happening with the BAA and the concession company at the airport. But we believe that's a model that can and should be looked at. Topping the list for the highest monthly rental is the Immigration and Nationality Department, which falls under the Prime Minister's ministry. And they're paying $22,000 to a certain landowner. The Ministry of Public Utilities, $17,000. A month. This is monthly. Yes. The Ministry of Finance and Home Affairs, I guess they're combined in there. We see a contract here for $15,800. Ministry of Human Development, they're paying $15,000. Blue Economy, they're paying $14,000 for one of their buildings. $14,000.
What's the seaside one?
Ministry of Rural Transformation, $14,000. And this is the shocker. The Ministry of Youth also has one here for $14,000. I'm trying to figure out which building housed the Ministry of Youth that is worth $14,000. And there are others for some $12,000 and $10,000. The Honorable Marla and the Honorable Daly have a duty and a responsibility to make public that audit. We do not wish to hear what they think of the audit. We need to examine the audit for ourselves and determine whether we got value for money. If we were to only invest in our office complexes, we would save the taxpayers a whole lot of money in the millions.
We could not check with each ministry for confirmation of those numbers, but we will be following up. The Ministry of Health and Wellness, which Flowers called out for renting a building for $18,000 monthly, has denied that claim. And at the head table, it wasn't just the joint unions and the NTUCB. Other unions are currently enduring their own battles with the government, and they spoke up about their individual issues. For the University of Belize Faculty and Staff Union, they say that a $7 million subvention isn't cutting it, and that the government needs to fulfill its promise to restore it to $10 million. The acting president explained more.
They promised to restore the $10 million subvention and increase that by $1 million every year should they become the government of Belize. They have been in power since 2020, if I'm not mistaken, right? Ironically, the subvention of the university from 2021 to 2024 has been at its lowest, at $7.65 million. Last year, the UBFSU called out the government on a press release that they put out in June, almost a year ago. The response by the then government was that it would have been irresponsible of them to increase it given the pandemic and the economic crisis we were experiencing. And we understand that. That same year, they put out a press release saying that they, and I will pull it out if you allow me. It says the government of Belize and the MOECST are deeply committed to the responsible, sustainable development of the University of Belize.
That's a lie.
The ministry objectives is to have a clear plan for the sustainable responsibility. An element of that plan is to increase the subvention to UB from the current level to Belize 10 million in the 2025-2026 financial year.
Next slide.
That is the current budget that was presented. The budget that was presented once again indicates a 7.65 million for the university with no projection for increase. Now, our issue is the government keeps making promises. The subvention is not just something that we are calling for. It's something that the university needs. We are having problems keeping our faculty and staff. We are experiencing some brain drain. Our wages are not competitive. Our academic programs are suffering. We cannot further develop them. We want to push for accreditation, and this funding would take us a long way towards that.
And as we've reported, the Carl Houston Memorial Hospital Workers Union has been fighting for their pension. Last we spoke to them, they were considering the GOB's proposal and taking a vote from their members. Well, today the president said that the members rejected the proposal, but he also alleged that the government has been twisting the narrative.
On June 5th, the government, first thing they come and they do, they say, listen, we don't negotiate no more with we negotiate with the authority. The government is only giving financial support to what is agreed upon by the authority. Well, listen, no matter who we negotiate with, our position remains the same. We have a retirement fund for new workers from 2018, where it is mandatory. Their terms and conditions make it mandatory for them to contribute 3% and the employer contribute 4%. So they decided that for the services that we are claiming from 2001 to 2018 or even present for some workers, that they will compensate us with a 4%, considering that to be the employer portion. We make it clear that we have pre-discussion in meetings with our members based on the February 17th meeting with the government, where they were discussing a probable 4%, and we discussed that with our members, and it was clear from our membership it is not going to be acceptable. So when they make that position of 4%, we make it clear. We did not make any counter to the 4%, but rather make it stated that we have to go back to our membership with what is tabled by the government or now the authority. We also agree that a written letter of what was discussed and what was put to the table by the government or the authority would have brought forward to us by 5 o'clock on June 5th. 5:10, we did receive a letter signed by the chairman of the board of Carl Houston, which went back to all the way to February 17th, where they stated that our union in the February 17th meeting, they tabled 4% to us and we agreed to 4%.
That's a lie.
And that we also counter a 7%. Totally misleading.
And finally, the Christian Workers Union is also dealing with multiple issues, but the most important is the fact that they still haven't gotten a response about the Essential Service Arbitration Tribunal that was convened 4 months ago. The president explained more about their battle with the government.
We are still waiting for the ESAT, the Essential Services Arbitration Tribunal, to come back to us even after 4 months. So many months after the elections, and they have not yet sat down to respond to the stevedores what's happening with our case that is before them. So we're sounding out the call again, the ESAT. I must mention, because they will say, when I mentioned it last week, they immediately tried to convene a meeting. Unfortunately for us, our member who is representing on that panel was going to be out of the country for that date. So we've heard this morning that that meeting should happen within the next 2 weeks. But it's been 4 months, and that's why our cry. So we're still waiting on the ESAT. There are several other units, and one particular unit, I will not call name, but that unit is on the top of our list today because they're treating a member distastefully. And I just want to know that employer to know that we will not sit by and let that continue. What you're doing to our member, we slated a meeting yesterday, they pushed it off. They asked us if we could be there today. We can't be there because we're here. This takes priority for now, but we will get to that unit. So put your house in order. You know who you are. Put your house in order. Give our member and give our union the respect that we deserve as workers of this country. There is another unit that's taking their time to get to what they need to get to. There is one unit, you know who you are. I'm not calling any name, but I'm sounding the alarm. You continue to write to our chief sitting in your office. Your responsibility is to write to the CW and the president. The member in your office is not the president. The member is a representative, and they should be getting a copy of all your correspondences. Instead, in spite of CW Secretariat sending out letters to you and reminding you the member is the chief rep, please copy all correspondences. You disrespectfully continue. Even up to last week, and the GenSec is in the room can confirm, even up to last week, that institution, and a superior institution, keeps writing to the member who sits in the office. That's a disrespect.
And as you can see from those clips, the government has a trailer load of labor problems. Yesterday, the Public Service Union sent a clear and strong message of defiance when they blocked the entrance to the international airport for 17 minutes. Today, Senior Minister Francis Fonseca called it disappointing and out of character.
Yeah, well, I've always maintained that we have in place a structure and a mechanism for the resolution of these disputes. We have always been able to dialogue around the table. In my view, it is very unfortunate, very disappointing that the unions have moved away from the table and are not, resolving these issues in good faith, in a respectful way around the table. So I think, certainly I think the efforts to, close or disrupt activities at the airport, that cannot be acceptable to anyone. That is not in the interest of anybody. It's not in the interest of teachers, public officers, not in the interest of the tourism industry. It's not in the interest of Belize. And certainly from my knowledge of the people around the table in the joint unions who I've worked with for many, many years, these are all good Belizeans who want what's best for Belize. So that was very much out of character with the people I know. And I hope that that stops very quickly.
And Flowers also called for audits to be done on statutory boards. Nitch was one of them, and we asked the Minister of Culture about it today.
Nitch has never had anything to hide. We have audited state and financial statements. We have an audit done every year. So there's nothing new about that. We've discussed that many times with the Junt. That's a little bit of showmanship, because Flowers knows that we have discussed that issue around the negotiating table, and every time they have asked for information, we have made that information available through the Ministry of Finance. So there's a process and a structure in place for them to get information. So there's no need for any showmanship and circus when it comes to those issues. Those are serious matters, and we deal with them around the table.
And is the UDP conspiring with the unions? Well, you'll hear Tracy Panton's response, plus a tragedy of a 14-year-old boy knocked down and killed by a Floralia bus today. Don't go away.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Make light work lighter and quicker with switch technology from Axi Power Tools. Axi Switch technology breaks the bondage of power cords and grants you the luxury of freedom and precision. Switch one battery across all your Axi line power tools effortlessly, allowing for quick and efficient work. Cut the cords. Choose efficiency with Axi Switch technology. Only at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
The project aims to support 1,500 individual producers, 120 groups, and MSMEs.
Today we commence a first disbursement of almost $1.5 million to a total of 549 farmers. These farmers have all met the selection criteria and will each be issued a first portion of $2,000 to prepare equipment and agriculture inputs that align with sustainable practices. Once this finance has been satisfactorily used, a second portion of the same amount will be issued to the farmers.
I was praying to be chosen to get this grant.
I'm a beekeeper, so I will purchase more beehives so I could grow more.
This financial support definitely will move me forward and faster to accomplish my farmer's dream.
We thank you for all the hard work and the dedication for continue to put healthy, nutritious food on our table.
I'm gonna slow down. I'm coming up, that's right, I'm gonna show out.
Make every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Look at this. 2 days after holding a secret meeting, the UDP is calling a press conference. On the same day, union leaders are planning civil unrest.
If we will not, comrades, disrupt and create impact, we will be wasting our time. And so every action that we take, the first action is to let the tourists there know we're not being treated fairly. And that will go international. And that is the kind of impact that we have to have. If Thursday we engage in a massive motorcade into the airport, out to the press conference, then that has to be disruptive as well to the flow of traffic into the airport.
This is all about politics and power. This isn't about teachers and public officers. In a negotiation, the people win, but disruption costs everybody and nobody wins. Beware of snakes and false agendas.
So I hear Panthers the corner of the shark pen. Now, be careful, cause I know cat afraid for water and the sharks will eat them up. All happening on Saturday, June 21st. Bring out the entire family in the BPBL. The San Pedro Tiger Sharks face off the Punta Gorda Panthers inside the Belize Civic Center. Doors open at 7 p.m. and game starts at 9 p.m. After party at Shisha's. Sponsors include
You can see it. From humble beginnings to the nation's #1 poultry provider, join Quality Poultry Products as we celebrate the journey with a grand motorcade through the Old Capitol. This Saturday, June 21st at 9 a.m., there will be music, giveaways, and fun for the entire family all along the route. We start at Coney Drive, Princess Margaret Drive, and across the Belcan Bridge, straight down Central American Boulevard, down Mahogany Street, then going left into Western Avenue, another left into George Price Highway by Lord Ridge, up to the Hand Monument by Twins Gas Station, then turning right into Central American Boulevard, down Cesar Ridge Road, over Yabra Bridge, East Collect Canal, then all the way down Vernon Street by Fish Market Bridge, down Vernon Street right into Youth for the Future Drive, over Bell China Bridge, and finally landing at the foot of the bridge beside Quality Poultry Products North Front Street branch. Come out, Belize, and celebrate 50 years of quality.
However you travel, you're home. Book now and save 50% only at NAYA.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
Que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados y la mejor opción para el paciente.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023 in the...
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Shireen Halsell, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight.
We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craft.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
In an emergency, people may try to take advantage of a person at risk, including children and women. Avoid this from happening to your family members by practicing the following. Be aware of strangers offering to take your children away and promising to help you or your family. These offers are not always genuine, and a child could be at risk of violence, exploitation, or abuse. Make every effort to let your children know that they can tell you if something happens to them, and it doesn't matter who the person is, that you will listen and report it. Talk to your children and let them know that they should ask for help immediately if someone tries to touch them in an inappropriate way or make them feel uncomfortable. Report any negative behavior or conduct by anyone. By following these tips, you can ensure the safety of your family.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, there is a tragic news out of Hatterville after a 14-year-old student of Gwen Lizaraga High School was knocked down and killed. This morning, Terrell Cardenas was riding his bike when he was hit by an eastbound Feralia bus driven by 20-year-old Yordi Salazar. ASP Stacy Smith told us more via Zoom.
Police have issued a notice of intended prosecution to Yordi Salazar, the driver of a U-Tongue bus belonging to Floralia Bus Company that was involved in a fatal traffic accident which claimed the life of 16-year-old Terrell Caleb Cardenas, a Belizean student of Hattieville Village, Belize District. The accident occurred at approximately 10:30 a.m. today, 19 June 2025, between miles 16 and 17 on the George Price Highway. Initial investigation revealed that Cardenas was riding a bicycle from the direction of Hattieville to Belize City, and it is alleged that he abruptly made a left turn onto the highway into the part of the bus that was traveling to Belize City when the fatal collision occurred. Police investigation continues.
There was relief today when 13-year-old missing girl Lizzie Sumtekun was found alive and well. That's after she was reported missing on Monday. Sumtekun is a Guatemalan student who attends school in Benqueviejo. Reports are that she left school in the afternoon with her aunt and wasn't seen again. Today, ASP Smith told us that she was found in Guinea Grass Village in Orange Walk and that several people have been detained.
Lizzie Sumtekun, a 13-year-old student of Guatemalan nationality, was located. Sumtekun, who attends a school in the Cayo district, was reported missing on Monday, 16 June 2025, after she had not returned for the afternoon session of her classes. Police have since placed Sumtekun, who is in apparent good health, in the care of the Department of Human Services. 3 persons have been detained in connection to this incident, and a file will be forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for their directives. Communications have been made with the family via the Human Services Department.
And so she'll be returned back home?
That is a decision that will be made, but I anticipate that to be the case.
One of the charges that can be levied is harboring a minor, but the department is awaiting instructions from the DPP. Last night around 9, a Ladyville woman was forced to run out of her home after she noticed it was on fire. 35-year-old Sheena Bradley noticed that smoke was coming from the back of a house. Fire personnel arrived and found the building engulfed in flames. No one was injured, but the interior was destroyed. The home wasn't insured, and the total cost of the damages are unknown, as well as the cause of the fire. The brakes stopped working, and that's how a 1993 Isuzu pickup truck almost ended up in the side of a house on Hospital Street, San Ignacio Town. The driver was driving downhill when it happened, but thankfully no one was hurt. He gave a few more details in an interview today.
The breakdown, that's why when I take the curb, the problem was that the brake never responded.
But so when you come down, I figure it have no brakes. Instead of going to the right, you come on the left.
Yeah, on my left side. But there, close to the corner, there was a small car. That's why I come in a the other way, you know.
And then when you have a knock brakes and so, what comes to your mind?
Well, what I did is just to turn the wheel. But you don't have enough time to turn this way. So
how old is the vehicle? What vehicle is used away?
The car. This is 1993, I think.
93.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So that's the problem.
And turning now to politics, UDP parliamentarians held a press conference today with the leader of the opposition taking the lead. They did so at what they call the UDP headquarters, which is a building on Euphrates Avenue. Tracy Panton joined the call of the unions against the government to stop the negative ad campaign against the unions.
We will not be distracted by the state-sponsored propaganda designed to shift attention from the pressing national issues. We reject the narrative that aims to discredit unions and civil society leaders who are advocating for the rights of their members. Corruption on steroids, as we see very early in this administration, cannot be normalized or ignored.
And one of the principal allegations in those ads is that the UDP is conspiring with the unions to cause civil unrest. Panton said they have been meeting with the unions and other civil society actors.
We have started a dialogue with the unions. We met, the Honorable Lee Mark Chang and I met with the President of the Public Service Union, the President of the NTU. We have requested a meeting with the members of the NTUCB so that we can look at areas of common concern and we can agree collectively, and not just the opposition and the unions, or other civil society partners, the churches, so that we can come, the NGOs, we can come together to ensure that we not only are critical of the government, but provide actionable solutions that we can enjoy as a people.
Mesopotamia Representative Lee Mark Chang used his presentation to focus on the tourism sector, which projections say is on the cusp of a major downturn due to reduced travel from the United States. But Chang zoned in on the $54 million tourism bond launched in 2022, for which he says there has not been sufficient public reporting or accountability.
Why has there been radio silence since 2022 on the bond? Not a single official report, not a single public update, not a single parliamentary disclosure on the bond's progress or impact. But we hear a lot about road projects, supplementary loans at every House meeting. But when it comes to tourism infrastructure, we hear nothing yet from the tourism industry bond. What tourism infrastructure has been completed under the tourism bond to date? Where are the promised improvements? What specific projects have been financed? What is the current financial status of the bond? How much have been dispersed or used? And where left? Where left? We don't know where left. Are there any contractors to do the projects? Were they selected through competitive bidding? Can we get an independent audit of the tourism bond spendings.
And one of the issues leading to a downturn in tourism is a recent security advisory on Belize from the Canadian government. Chang says government is making that situation worse with budget cuts.
In fact, the government just cut the police budget, the immigration budget, the Coast Guard and Maritime Security budget. All while security remains one of the top concerns of tourism. Frankly speaking, the government is pulling back much needed budget in the very institution that ensures the safety of tourists while investing $133 million into infrastructure.
And Senator Sheena Pitts spoke on the 13th Amendment, which was recently tabled in the National Assembly. The controversial amendment seeks to make it easier for government to declare SOEs and includes provisions for special areas for public safety and public order, the establishment of a gun and gang court, and retroactive validation of past emergency declarations. The bill went to committee earlier this week. Senator Pitts characterized the amendment as sinister and corrosive of citizens' constitutional rights.
Government is talentless. They cannot solve the crime problem. Instead, they are codifying the ability to suspend fundamental rights and freedoms guised as prevention and control of crime. You hear that? 2, they openly, through this amendment, through legislation, accept that the state of emergencies that they imposed on Belizean people were unlawful and not consistent with the Constitution. So since the court ruling, then the hurry go change the Constitution. They say the 2 rulings are uncertain. You know what you do when you're unhappy about a decision from the court? You appeal. Go through the process that we have for appeal. They are creating new and lower thresholds for what constitutes a state of emergency. The GG will get wide powers and authority to make rules and regulations on how to prevent crime. It can make rules on the custody or disposal of anything police take away from you. You understand? So existing where you hatchet, if I take away something from you, Mr. Warrior, and I the police, I have to document it, you know. And when I go to station, when I put it in the exhibit room, I have to document it, you know what I call that? Chain of custody. With their new thing, none of that. They could just take away your thing, huff your thing, and you get punk. No. That. You know what this bill will also do? Make retroactive the lawfulness of all states of emergencies. So then they try and make it seem like the one when it happened under the previous administration, yeah, we are make that lawful too. But if the thing is unlawful, it is unlawful. But they are saying, and let me tell you is how many. 2 SOEs in 2018, 4 SOEs in 2020, 2 SOEs in 2021, 2 in 2022, 2 in 2023, 4 in 2024, and 2 in 2025 so far. What this bill will do is make all of those lawful, beating the court to the punch after the declaration by the High Court. You know what else it does? It prohibits any new litigant like me and you know, where would have carried in a court, prevent anybody from filing any action against the government of Belize, challenging the lawfulness of the state of emergency from the effective date, May 26, 2025. So if you file your lawsuit before then, yeah, you're getting blind, you could finish your thing, but anything after that, no, this bill is say, no dice.
The bill goes to public consultations in mid-July, and the UDP is urging the public to come out and reject it. Panton's parliamentarians held the press conference today under the UDP banner. We know that has been known bound to trigger some kind of legal threat from Shine Barrow, who clings to party leadership. She explained the grounds on which they stand.
Be assured that the UDP internal party issues will be handled responsibly and decisively by our elected leadership under the guidance of the Honorable Hugo Pat, our legally designated interim party leader. We are pursuing all legal avenues available to us to resolve the current leadership impasse. This process will be undertaken with integrity and transparency.
After the break, the U.S. Secretary of State has met every other regional foreign minister, but not Francis Fonseca. We asked him why today. Don't go away.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
At a time when tourism figures have fallen because of global uncertainty, union leaders choose to threaten tourism even more by threatening the operations of the international airport. That isn't a move to benefit the teachers and public officers. That is a UDP political plan, because any unrest in the country benefits the UDP, not public officers and teachers. Hurting the economy and affecting our people's job security will not benefit public officers and teachers. The UDP doesn't want any of this resolved. They want civil unrest, because for them, this is all political, and they are desperate. If the negotiations continue, there will be a resolution. There always is. And if there is civil unrest, there will be no resolution, and nothing for public officers and teachers. In that scenario, nobody wins but the UDP. Remember that.
To properly serve families and children, the court requires accurate reports, social workers who understand the importance of law and its legal requirements. Without continued training for social officers, we will have failed our society at large.
We begin a one-week training session to reflect on one of the most powerful tools in the field of social work, the Social Inquiry Report, or the SIR. Social workers on the front lines of Belize's child protection and juvenile justice systems carry the responsibility to inform and guide the decisions of the judiciary with compassion, professionalism, and evidence-based insight. An incomplete or biased report can have life-altering consequences, but a well-written, objective, and thorough SIR can change the trajectory of a child's life. In every social inquiry report, there is a chance to rewrite a child's story, not with fiction, but with understanding, not with judgment, but with justice.
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corzal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor. For over 35 years.
In the heart of a thriving country, Atlantic Bank stands as more than just a financial institution. We are family and your steadfast partner in success throughout every step of your journey. Our unwavering focus remains on continually enhancing your experience through innovation. From the traditional banking services to cutting-edge online and mobile banking services, we make your life easy, convenient, and secure. We deeply value the relationships and trust placed in us over the years. This trust has enabled us to support and realize the dreams of our personal customers, be the driving force behind the development of micro, small, and medium businesses, and the preferred partner to our corporate clients. We are committed to serving our communities and making a positive impact. By prioritizing financial inclusion, we ensure that everyone has access to the financial tools and resources they need to thrive. We are your partner in progress, serving you with excellence and professionalism and providing real-life solutions. Today and for generations to come, let's continue building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
As we have reported, there have been 2 deportee flights from the U.S. to Belize. The numbers are small, just about 2 dozen, but the message from the U.S. is clear. Undocumented immigrants are no longer welcome in the U.S. But is Belize now ready to welcome them home and try to employ the skills they have gained in the U.S. while reintegrating them productively into society? Foreign Minister answered that today.
Yeah, we have, as you rightly pointed out, we had one, I think the first flight was, we had, I think, 21 persons coming. The second flight, I think we had 8 persons coming. You know, and we work, it's a sort of collaborative effort. Ministry of Foreign Affairs, of course, we're responsible for certain aspects of it, but we work very closely with the Human Development Department. We work, of course, with the Belize Police Department. We work with immigration as well. To make sure that we are meeting with these individuals who need help and support. For the most part, we have found that most of them have families in Belize and they have a support structure in place. But still, we make sure that they have proper information, proper advice about government services that are available to them. And if they have any questions and concerns, we try to address those. I think there were 1 or 2 individuals who had really no kind of family in Belize. They had left Belize a long time ago, and we had to provide some, at least short-term housing arrangements for them. So we're doing everything we can to support them to make sure that their transition back into Belizean society is as peaceful as possible. Those who have police records or who are wanted by the police, obviously then the Belize Police Department gets involved and interviews them and addresses whatever issues they have with them.
Speaking of U.S. relations, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has met with the leaders of every CARICOM country and with most of the leaders of Central America except Belize. How should Belize interpret this exclusion? Fonseca stressed that they have spoken on the phone.
Not at all. Secretary Rubio had a fantastic 30-minute telephone conversation with Prime Minister Briceño several months ago. Or good conversation, very productive. We talked about our shared mutual interests. We have an excellent relationship, working relationship with the U.S. Embassy here in Belize, with the State Department. We've had multiple meetings with our ambassador in Washington and the State Department. I, in fact, am planning a visit to Washington in the next few weeks, where we have high-level meetings set up. So, we have a great relationship with the United States government. And really, the truth is that, the relationship is so good that there's not a need for a lot of talking and meeting. We have a good relationship. And in many cases, what you see happening is, the U.S. is very concerned about the influence of China in our hemisphere. Obviously, Belize has relations with Taiwan. So there's not a need for us to meet to discuss those issues, while with other countries, there's a need to discuss those issues on the part of the U.S. So excellent relationship.
And while Fonseca says the relationship is excellent, many have been asking what changes in diplomatic postings will follow after the recent general election. No new ambassadors have been named, but reports say that there are changes afoot. Here's what the foreign minister said about it today.
We've just finalized that. Obviously, we were waiting to get through the budget process and everything. So we're just at the point of finalizing that. So we expect all of that to be completed by the end of July. By the end of July, we'll have that process completed, where we have the new ambassadors in place by the end of July.
Last night we had an update on the current status of the New World Screwworm in Belize, where it is prevalent but less so than in other Central American countries. But in a press conference with Baja, the Ministry of Agriculture today, they revealed that the number of screwworm cases appearing in dogs is now becoming a growing concern. Jo Marie Lanza has that report.
Belize detected its first case of screwworm back in early January, and since then, a total of 160 cases have been reported. An epidemiological investigation being led by Baja has detected cases in every district except for Corozal.
The northern portion of the Belize district, the Orange Walk district, and the Corozal district are considered the uninfested northern zone since there have only been isolated cases. There is an animal movement control point at San Hill in the Belize district to verify that the animals moving to this zone have gone through the necessary process and are compliant. These controls have been in place since March 20th and are not being changed today, but remain under constant review. Extremely concerning for us is that there is a marked increase in New World Screwworm cases in pets, particularly in dogs. On June 14th, we had 59 cases in cattle, 54 cases in dogs, 23 cases in pigs, 17 cases in horses, 5 cases in sheep, and 2 cases in goats. Of our 160 cumulative cases, 55 are active cases with wounds in the process of healing. Notably, in the past 4 weeks, we have had 20 new cases in dogs. Even more concerning is that the owners of these dogs seem not to be aware of when infestation occurs and only notice when there is a large gaping wound.
But keeping the screwworms from spreading isn't the ministry's only concern. Their managing director says that a large fraction of the cases are being reported among dogs, increasing chances of animal-to-human transmission.
I want to emphasize that the large number of infestation in dogs is alarming. With almost as much infestation in dogs as there is in cattle, Baja is concerned that the dog owners and in general, pet owners are not properly monitoring the health of these animals. We continue to urge the owners of all animals, including all livestock, small stock, and pets, to inspect their animals regularly for wounds, to treat wounds with the approved medicines and larvicides, and to report any maggot infestation to the nearest Baja or Ministry of Agriculture office.
Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai says that thankfully to date, they have not received any reports of screwworms in humans. But in the event that it does happen, OERSA is prepared to bring in experts from Nicaragua to find the best possible solution on how to care for infected persons.
As Zoe said, the managing director of Baja, that the concern at this time is the small animals or pet animals, the dogs. If you look at the cases in Belize, we're having a high number of incidences in our dogs. It means that we have to look after our pets. And the other concern is the stray dogs we have on the streets. We have to put some mechanism in place to try to control the number of stray dogs, one, and two, to monitor if they have wounds, especially when it is breeding season. The animals, the dogs tend to fight each other, get injured, and therefore get infected with screwworm. And we must not forget that the closest pet to a human is a dog. They could be infected also with screwworms. Let us not forget that the country with the highest incidence of screwworm in humans is Nicaragua, and now being followed closely by Mexico. In Belize, so far, officially, we have had no reported case of screwworms in humans officially. And we hope to maintain it that way. However, in the event that it appears in a human being in Belize, we have to address it quickly.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And in softer news, it was a golden handover today for the National Celebrations Commission, which presented a check for $45,000 to the Carnival Committee, which is celebrating 50 years of the Carnival Road March. The Minister of Culture gave us more details on how the monies will be dispersed and used in preparation for one of the most highly anticipated events of the September celebrations season.
As you know, every year the National Celebrations Commission makes a contribution to the Belize Carnival Association to support, obviously, the carnival, the Belize Carnival, the Belize City Carnival. It's a major event on the September celebrations calendar. So we've always contributed to that effort. What makes this year special is that this is the 50th anniversary of Carnival in Belize. So I had a meeting, a few months ago with representatives of the Carnival Association. We talked about the 50th anniversary, and we all agreed that, listen, 50 years, we have to celebrate that in a big way. We have to go big. We have to do it bigger and better than ever. And of course, that requires additional resources. So that's what we're doing. We're providing additional resources. We're providing the startup kickoff funds that they usually need. But the association is also holding two important events in celebration of 50 years of Carnival in Belize. They're having a big gala, 50th anniversary gala, where they will be awarding 50 individuals and businesses that have supported Carnival over these past 50 years. And they'll also be publishing a 50th anniversary magazine, really to celebrate all things Carnival in Belize. So we wanted to support both of those initiatives. So today we gave them a check for $45,000, $20,000 for the Carnival Association to kick off their usual activities, and then $15,000 is a contribution towards the gala, and $10,000 is a contribution towards the publication of the magazine.
Well, like I said earlier, this is our golden anniversary. 50 years of Carnival in Belize, 50 years of reveling. And yes, we are having big things planned. We are in dialogue with the mayors of the different municipalities, where we are inviting Carnival groups from different municipalities to come and be a part of the 50th anniversary in Belize. Carnival all started back in 1975 with 5 ladies. And this gala is basically to highlight these ladies, and as well as 50 other people who have been there from its beginning in 1975 to now, that have helped Carnival to grow to where it is now. So at the gala, it is a masquerade gala, so to speak, right? Where, like I said, we'll be honoring people, we will be honoring the bands, and having fun, masquerade, gala style.
And aside from today's upcoming Carnival anniversary, we also asked the Minister for details on the Carnival route, which he says will stay the same along Marine Parade, and they are full steam ahead with it.
Absolutely, 100% sticking with the route we had last year. I think we have received almost unanimous support for that route that was chosen last year. The Carnival Association is very happy. And I think, most Belizeans who participated, who watched the Carnival last year, think it was a great idea. I know the police certainly loved the fact that they were able to have more control over the Carnival. So yes, we're full steam ahead with the route from last year.
And that's all we have for you for our newscast tonight. Thanks for watching. With your news, I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube pages. Have a pleasant evening. Join Miriam Abdul-Kawe here tomorrow, and I'll be seeing you back on Monday. Have a good one.